Good afternoon. I'm Pisces Joseph, a founder at Hamilton Black Film Festival. Today we have here in our show the filmmakers POV, Klair Ethridge, the writer and producer of the Black Swan. Today we're going to answer questions about this film. You know, this film was in our festival, the Hamilton Black Film Festival, and everyone talked about it because of the uniqueness of this film. So, ladies, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question about this film. The beginning of this film, you talk about the life of her, Harriet Tubman, and what she went through. So, can you a little bit talk to the audience why you try to make them understand that before the show?
Well, the concept of the ballet was we wanted to tell the story of Harriet Tubman at different stages of her life. So, in speaking with one of our advisors and elders in Tacoma, Dr. Maxine Mims, she suggested to show 4 seasons in the life of Harriet. So, therefore, we were able to figure out exactly what was happening in each stage of her life and to depict that through dance.
That's very great because most of the dances are unique in different stages. So, stage one, the first dance here, the character is not here today. But can you let us tell us a little bit about that first dance because it's the opening dance, what it meant?
Well, in my writing it and Maurice interpreting it with choreography, we wanted to show the innocence of a child who was actually born free in her mind, but yet was enslaved because of the world she lived in. And how, even though she was put to task to work, there is still that energy in the child that wants to be free, that wants to dance, that wants to play with their friends. And the rows of the garden were there to indicate how she was closed in and it was narrow, the life that she and the other children had. And that's why they were dancing up and down the rows and still coming together and then still being separated.
Okay, I got to talk about the location. The location is so unique, in this story, all right? And when she was dancing in low around the garden, you just look at it so I can say natural, the environment, everything. And she comes out just dance. It was like when she was dancing, she was so happy. Is there the choreographer? You got to answer this question. So, what was you thinking when you asked her to dance that way? What was
Maurice?
yeah,
In the first one,
yeah.
um, well, it because happiness, in my opinion, it resembles innocence. So despite children going through hard times, children still have that innocence. They still have that happiness about them, despite growing up in a situation that might not be the best or whatever. And you see it several in cases, even with videos. There's a YouTube video of a man who goes around the world and he does dances in each and different country. And in these third world countries, the happiest looking children were the children from the third world countries. So children's innocence is that strong. It's that strong that and it's very specific to children, and it's a very powerful thing that children have, to have that resilience against things, even hard times. They're able to still be creative, imaginative, and view past the hard times because they're children. That's their power. That's how they survive. So that is why she's happy, because that to me is power that children have.
Yeah, I can see the unity among them in the dance. So the second dance, they all came out. I think they were five of them in a group. As they were dancing, she fell down. The first dancer fell down, and they just run to her, get her up. So I want to ask you a question. before they get up, they always pick something from the floor like a sand or
Rather than vilify any of our children into that role, we just had her fall in the field to indicate that that is what caused her to have her visions and her epilepsy, as well as the narcolepsy. That was all brought forth from when she was hit with that counterweight.
okay. Let's talk about the shot of a scene. It was a nice shot about the stars, and they were dancing under the stars. So, can you tell us more about that? The shot of those films.
Okay, well, we actually shot that during the daytime, and that was the first scene we shot. The rehearsals, everything had happened via Zoom. So this is the forum. Maurice would work with all of our dancers via Zoom, and that was the first day that our dancers got together to dance. So we were practicing social distancing, and they did an amazing job. So it was a daytime shoot, and in the editing process, I made the decision that it should be at night because we wanted to see the stars. So it was filters that we used to give the appearance of darkness, as well as illuminating the dancers so they would portray the stars. With Maurice, who was playing Harriet, we tried to keep the illumination off of her, so it would seem as if she were traveling through the constellations.
That was a good scene. The shots, everything perfect. So, I'm going to ask you a question, Shuret, because you are the choreographer. So, the dance by the lake, no, she continued to dance. She stepped away, come back. Can you tell us why you choreograph it that way? What does it signify? The importance of those things.
Well, river crossing in water, that was a huge obstacle that Harriet Tubman had to go through in escaping. And in that piece, that is the stage in life that she is about. She is escaping, she is running away, and she's determined to escape. So the choreography is big and energetic and also fearful and tense, because that's what that moment is. She's running away. I'm sure, terrified, scared for her life. So it the moment it was supposed to, the choreography is meant to create tension, to create that she is scared and that she is running away, but also the fact that she has this, in order to go through all this, she's also has a sense of determination and bravery and some sense of fearlessness, and boldness. You have to be bold in order to do that. She, and that was the intention with that. And the river was chosen because it's a great location, and also it's a great indicator symbolizing crossing into the next stage of life, crossing the river into the next stage of freedom. So
So, I like that scene. Anyway, water is life. Stepping on that water that is life is another journey. I like that scene a lot. So what I'm going to talk about now is, there's no much dialogue about this film because it's so, the creativity is there. It's just narrate this story through dance, body language, and everything. So what is this story? Is this the new trend of filmmaking? What are you going to talk about, like the upcoming filmmakers? What is this film telling?
Well, this film came about through necessity. We had initially planned on this ballet being done on stage, but due to COVID and our separation, the decision was made to either film it or hold on presenting it until we could be together again. So we didn't know how long that would be, and so the decision was made out of necessity to film it. And I would tell future filmmakers that if you have an idea, just film it. Get your friends, get people you know, get fellow students, fellow filmmakers, just your family, and put together that story and film it in stages and then take your time after and put it all together. That's just go for it.
I get this another way of telling stories through dance. All right. So there's another question I didn't want to ask: the dance inspirations, interpretation, resolution, and tenacity of this the movie. So when the last dance, I remember there was a scene. She was dancing with another Harriet, that like a white lady. So what does that signify?
I'm going to say really quickly, then I'll pass it over to Renee. So that is Winter Harriet, and that is Harriet remembering the different stages of her life. And that's she, in the last stages of Harriet's life, she became a suffragette and worked on women's rights. And she opened the first senior citizens home for black people. So this was indicating the white for the suffragettes, and then all the other characters that danced with her were different stages of Harriet. And then again, there was the forest that came to life. She was part of that also because that was a big part of Harriet's life, going in and out of the forest. So we decided to include that character in the finale with Renee, who played Winter Harriet.
Oh, that's beautiful. So one of the dance, she was holding a gun and she was dancing. What is the importance of that in this film?
Well, Harriet always carried a gun, right? And she had to protect herself and protect her charges. So the decision was made. We had a nice replica gun, and that she should carry a gun, and that should be a part of telling her story. Now, we did have a little pushback from a few people that maybe since this was a story being danced by young people, that we should not have a gun, but we wanted to remain true to the character.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thanks for coming to the show. You know, this film, everybody talks about it during our festival. You know, I watched it many times, all right? The trailer was well done. You know, it's so beautiful. Every time I want to watch the trailer of the film. So, thanks for coming to the show. This Hamilton Black Film Festival, Filmmakers POV. And it's, I want you to give a shout out to your crew.
Okay, well, our crew were like me and our parents. So the majority of the film was shot on my cell phone and their cell phones, and we had a boom box where the dancers danced. We found places in the woods, in the forest, and by the water, and at the botanical gardens here. The first scene was in a neighborhood garden that is actually a garden where people can come and plant and take food as they need it. It's called the Hug Garden. And so we kind of just pulled out the cell phone and the boom box and got to work.
So beautiful, so beautiful. The film was well shot, you know, the creativity is so high. And that was the reason I say, you know, we got to talk about this because those interpretations, the dance and everything, you know, I really want to understand it. So I urge people to go and watch the film, The Black Swan, in the year of COVID. It was well shot and written and directed by one and only Klair and Ethridge. Thanks for coming to the show. You know, I watched the film. You know, everybody did great. The dance was awesome. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, bye then.
Bye.